So I've been thinking a lot about today's video and not too sure where this video is going to go. Let's just see what happens. 2 weeks ago, my last video was about what I'd learned on YouTube so far from consistently posting each week one video for 6 months. And there was one specific lesson which seemed to resonate with people the most. And this one lesson was not to expect support from your peers. Now, I really took a gamble with this one and kind of felt like I was committing social media suicide or something, because it's bringing light to quite an uncomfortable conversation which may actually come up with some of my peers later down the track. But I felt that it was necessary to bring attention to this because it's definitely something that I noticed. It was a pattern of behavior and also something that I'd noticed in myself. I think this brings light to a much larger situation that definitely needs to be talked more about. I'm not sure that I fully understand the reasons why this happens, but I think it's common enough that we could draw our own conclusions from it. You know, we very quickly gravitate towards people who are highly successful, people with huge followings, huge wealth, huge recognition, and will devote a lot of our attention towards supporting what they do. People who don't necessarily need the support. Yet when it comes to the people closest around us, people who are kind of striving for that next step in their career or their passion or their purpose, we can often neglect supporting people in these positions when they really need the help. When someone is inspired to do something and they take a leap of faith and go all in on something, that is an incredibly daunting task. Believe me, I've been there. And it's often at the start that it is super easy to give up because you're not really seeing any kind of results or support from your efforts so far. We might post some music or share a video or post any kind of content on our social media channels and receive a little bit of engagement from our immediate contacts. But then we might follow that up with another post or some more music or continue down this path. And it's likely that you'll see a very quick decline in that engagement. And this is indeed a struggle that everybody faces with social media. The more consistent you are, the more your engagement decreases, but the more your reach increases. You're reaching new audiences and your following should grow over time. But this is not a video about social media growth. When we see someone go after something, I think that we have two choices. We can choose to support them and engage with them, encourage them, and be their biggest fan, or we can choose to do nothing. And I'll add here that doing nothing is still doing something. Not engaging, not liking, not sharing, not commenting, not supporting in any way is still saying something. That's a choice. You're choosing not to support, and that's okay. That is your choice. But I suppose what I'm getting at here is why? Why do we choose not to support? Why do we choose not to encourage, not to engage, not to be their biggest fan? We may see someone release some music. Maybe it's one of their first releases. And immediately what's going on for us is we're deciding how qualified are they at this task to be worthy of my engagement. I kind of feel like this is the calculation going on in my mind. You know, if there's some big time artist or big time celebrity, it's like a no-brainer. You're like, yeah, of course I'm going to like that. But when it comes down to someone we know, someone in our immediate circle, we may be like, they haven't earned the stripes yet, or they haven't got the scars on their back to be worthy of my engagement. It's such a shallow point of view to take. And I can't help but feel that there are so many people just hiding in the shadows, watching from afar as you pursue something that's really important to you. And like they're kind of just waiting for you to slip up. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy that they're like, this guy doesn't have what it takes, and sooner or later he's going to prove that to me. I mean, it must be so exhausting silently judging people from afar. This is total speculation, but from my own experiences and from some of the people around me, I absolutely know that this is what they're thinking, because there have been times when I've slipped up. And they've commented, publicly mind you, for the first time, just to tell me that I'm wrong. Now, it's probably unconscious. I don't think that people are out there just to sabotage other people's pursuits. But when we see people shooting for their goals or pursuing something that's important to them, there is no reason to be bitter towards them. In fact, it's quite the opposite. That's an opportunity to be inspired. When you see someone posting something vulnerable on their social media, taking a risk, putting themselves out there, that's not fucking easy. That takes guts. That takes courage. That takes probably a whole lot of shit that you aren't doing. There's an opportunity to see that and go, you know what? That's something I wish I could do. That's something I wish I was doing. Maybe I could get off my own ass and make it for myself. The inaction of not engaging on other people's pursuits, if you are like following this person, if you are on their social media channels, you're in their space, actively watching what they're doing, ask yourself why you aren't supporting, why you aren't engaging, why you aren't encouraging. Because people who are putting themselves out there, trying to help people, trying to help themselves, they need that support. We all need that support. Like, the world needs this support. It does no one any benefits to tear people down for pursuing something that's important to them, if it's genuinely helping them and helping other people. I think it's really sad that people have to almost prove their worth by going above and beyond to the people closest around them in those early stages where they're just kind of figuring it out, finding their voice or finding their passion or finding their direction along the way. The shit is hard. It takes courage, and it bodes well for everyone if we stick together and support each other, because sooner or later that underdog that you haven't been supporting is gonna make it. They're gonna make something of themselves, and they will remember who was on the journey with them. They will remember who came along for the ride, who was there when they were struggling, who was there when they were taking risks. The people who engaged, who encouraged, who supported, those are the people we need more of, not the other way around.